Our world really needs a morale boost. Plus, I need something to lift my own spirits. Maybe you do too. And it's June Pride. I'm Thomas Roberts. This is Gay Good News. Hey everybody, it is great to have you with us on GGN for this Friday, June the 26th, 2020. It is actually National Take Your Dog to Work Day, and I'm excited to tell you that I've got my little dogs with me here. Here's Roxy. There's Patrick over there trying to get Charlie to come over here. Look, here's Roxy. Come here, Rox. Show your little face. Yes, as I give you little treats. And here's Charlie. Little Andre Charlie. Come over here. Come here. Oh, don't slip away. Come over here. Look. Look. Hop up. Come here. No, there's more. I swear. You gotta let the good people see you. Come over, Char. All right, they're right over there. I don't know if you can see up through my big legs. But this is how, actually, we go to work with the dogs, basically, because we haven't left the house in forever. But they probably say, when are you going to leave? Roxy's a sweet girl. But it is National Take Your Dog to Work Day. But like I said, most of you are probably working from home. So who knows if you got to take your dogs on to work. But for this Friday, the other thing I wanted to pass along is a happy anniversary to marriage equality. Can you believe it's been 5 years since the Supreme Court gave that ruling? I remember it very well because I was on the air at that time. That's what that Emmy is for up there. For our live breaking coverage of that ruling. And it seems like it was yesterday, but still kind of not, that far in the distant past, although it is. I mean, we've come such a long way in such a short period of time. But yeah, an amazing 5 years it's been. And so many happy marriages. Many people got married before that, like we did. We got married in 2012 because the state of New York had already passed its law. But finally, the federal government caught up with so many different states. So, happy marriage equality, 5-year anniversary for that. So, that deserves a little bit of applause. Yeah. All right, this next thing I think you're going to like too, which will deserve some applause. Our face masks came in. Yes. So, they look really good. They're a nice material. All right. And they've got our name on them all printed out. Now, the contest is going to be for the first 10 people who can share this episode right now, or to share our Facebook page. Okay, so you'll see the share button right on the top of the screen or below this actual broadcast. And we will figure out who you are and get these out to you. All right? Now, if there's a huge demand, then we'll just make more contests or we'll just make more masks. But they're really nice. I was wearing them earlier today and I gave them out to a couple of friends and they really like them. So, again, that's the first 10 people to share our page or to share this broadcast, whichever comes first. The other big thing that we're planning for this weekend, which you probably heard about, is Global Pride. So Global Pride 2020 kicks off this morning. So basically tonight, it's really right after midnight at 1 a.m. on the 27th. It's a 24-hour marathon event that's going to be hosted by Todrick Hall, and it's going to be taking place all over the globe with 91 different countries actually participating. So it's going to have speakers like Joe Biden and the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, but also many acts performing. And again, you can watch that through Facebook or through their website, globalpride.org. Also, Reverie has the feed going, but it's going to be exactly for 24 hours starting this morning, 1 a.m. on the 27th, so tonight, for 24 hours straight. And it's going to be a fantastic show. It's the first time anything like this has ever happened. As we know, COVID-19 canceling so many different events, postponing so many different events for June Pride. So this is the first time anything like this has ever been done. And it's going to be an amazing show, probably something that will continue to happen. Now, the other thing I'm really excited to share with you today is a conversation with a woman you're probably well aware of. She's pretty popular on RuPaul's Drag Race. You know her, Michelle Visage. She's been by Ru's side for all these years, but she also has her own trademark style and her own trademark way of taking care of some BS. She has a new reality show on, and it's called How's Your Head, Hun? It's part of World of Wonder, and it's airing on BBC. I had a chance to catch up with Michelle, who I just think is fantastic. I want to share that conversation with you now. Take a look. And I'm so excited to have our next guest on Gay Good News, the fabulous Michelle Visage. Michelle, it's so good to see you.
So good to see your beautiful face. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You know, it's been way too long since I've gotten to see you. But I
Agreed.
understand that you have been having a very interesting isolation. Now, I'll just remind everybody that I got a chance to meet you a couple of years ago when I was a guest judge on Drag Race, and that's the season that Bob won, which was an epic season. But you are a multi-hyphenate, and I just love that about you. And this show that you've had on the air as we speak, How's Your Head, Hun? I just love
Yes.
the concept of this. Tell me about it.
It's super fun. It's airing on BBC Three in the UK and Wow Presents Plus here in America. And as we were going into quarantine, I was thinking, we're going to do quarantine different than the Kardashians would, or, we're not going to a big estate with a guest house and chefs and trainers. And I thought, we're going to be in quarantine probably the same way everybody else is, but why not throw some cameras in there and see how we can do it? And if we can make people laugh, even for 30 minutes once a week, then our job is done. And we're trying to do silly things just to pass the time, because really, I think quarantine is affecting everybody differently. And I think a lot
Hmm.
of mental health issues are arising, a lot of, addiction pattern behavior, things like that. So we were trying to break it up and let people not think about what was happening in the world with COVID and everything, just to have a little bit of fun. So that's what it is. It's a reality show meets a talk show. So I interview people from my closet because that's the only place for quiet in this house. And the rest is just a reality show. We're playing games, cooking my way, which is very basic, and just doing things to let us not think
Yeah.
about the tragedy that surrounds us.
Well, it sounds like a great distraction, but also the experiment that you were trying to do. Uh, what did you learn about your own family?
I learned a lot. I learned that, first of all, I don't spend a lot of time at home a lot. So this is a learning lesson. Like, I've been married for 23 years, and I realized that married couples are not meant to spend this much time together, because
They're
all
not.
the little, so it's obviously time for mommy to go get out of the house for a little bit. You know what I mean? I think that's what makes relationships stronger, is realizing when you need to have your alone time, and then you can come back and go, okay, I'm better now.
Well, yeah, you can appreciate it a little bit more.
Absolutely. It's okay to say that. Like, we're not meant to spend every minute, just as humans,
Yeah.
every minute of every day with the same people, day in and day out. That's why, going to work is a break, and then you come home and you can decompress. And even, when you drive in your car or you commute on public transport, whatever it is, that's your kind of break with being around the same people all the time. And that does have a place. So it's interesting when you spend this much time together, the things that you pick up
Did
on
you
each other.
did you find yourself struggling a bit at times though? I mean, having blue days, dark days, and having to push through.
Absolutely. I think I keep moving this with my foot. Absolutely. I think that's part of this. I think that, you know, mental health and anxiety and depression, I think, is rearing its ugly head in this kind of quarantine mode, because a lot of people are alone, or a lot of people thrive on conversations and being around other humans and contact and interaction. That, thank God, there's the Zooms and the house parties and the Google Meets and all these things, because I don't know what we'd be without them, and not just for business, but for just seeing person to person. And I think that's, moving forward, skin contact and hugs and kisses are going to be limited. So I think
Yeah.
we're looking at the future. But yeah, I had my days of anxiety and worry and stress and struggle, and both my kids struggle with depression. So they've had some pretty interesting rough days and some okay days. But I want everybody to know that the whole point is, it's okay not to be okay. There are people and places that we could and should reach out to get help. This is unknown to all of us. And I
Right.
think the scary part is, if we knew what this was, and we can go, oh, well, we know what this is because we've done it, but we haven't. So that's the scary part. We don't know what's happening. And that's why a lot of us feel so alone.
Yeah, there's no handbook to go along with this, and we're kind of making up the rules as we go along. But yeah, doing the best that we can, putting one foot in front of the other. The great thing that I love about this show, not just the title, because I grew up in Baltimore, and so we always say "hun" after everything.
Yeah.
But the fact that you are, exploring a taboo topic such as mental health, but also having a lot of fun. And this week's episode especially was the Pride episode.
Yeah. Which was super important to me because I think there's a lot of LGBTQIA plus kids who are feeling, well, I can't even do the one thing that I was looking forward to, which was going to a Pride parade or a Pride march. But I want them to know that we can still celebrate at home. But, you know, as far as coming out or celebrations or things like that, you know, I think it's important with especially LGBT kids that are in quarantine and don't feel safe, that we put the message out there that if you don't feel safe or you aren't in safe surroundings, now wouldn't be the time to decide to come out or to, you know, raise that rainbow flag in the house in front of others unless you know that you are safe. There will be time for that. Wait till quarantine ends. But everybody else that knows they're safe or in a safe space, there's no reason we can't celebrate. I have banners in my backyard up there. We have a gay daughter, so I think it's important that we let her know that we support her and celebrate her at all times, but especially during Pride Month.
Well, that's the whole reason why I wanted to start Gay Good News, is because, you know, we typically at this time of year, we have media coverage for the month based around events and activities, and all that's kind of disappeared. But meanwhile, the important headlines and the important moments to celebrate, they haven't disappeared. And so we got to take a moment, you know, where we can to have the right reflection. But I love this week, you actually get to break out your Universal Life Ministry certificate and put that to work, don't you?
I got to marry a beautiful couple, and they have a wonderful story. They actually proposed to each other at DC Pride last year. Well, you know, they got engaged at DC Pride last year, and they were going to get married to the day this year. But then COVID wiped out their wedding. So when I found out, I did put my little ministry to good use and married them in Dundee, Scotland over Zoom. It was amazing. The streets were decorated, like the whole neighborhood, if you can call it, it's like a village, aligned their back cobble roads behind their back gates. They put flags up and banners and beautiful things. And the boys, Finley and Alan, got married in their kilts, and they had bagpipers playing, and they walked down the cobblestone lane, and everybody came out of their back gates and watched them and supported them. It was so moving and so beautiful, and we were able to get it done even in the time of COVID. So it was an honor to be able to preside over that.
No, that's so cool. How many times have you actually performed a service? You know?
I've done about 6 at this point. I'd love to do more. Those were in person, not over Zoom, but I feel like, listen, we're in a different time right now. So we have to make good with what we've got. And that's how we did it. And we made 2 people who are very much in love unite in the name of love. And now they are husband and get to live on forever in peace and love.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. You know, and you know, as we close out Pride Month, you know, we're coming up to the end of it. For those kids out there, Michelle, and you're such a great advocate, what's your message to those kids that might be struggling?
That this is not permanent. You know that, you know, I know that especially for gay youth, you've heard a lot, it gets better. But this is going out to the world right now. It will get better. We know that. I think that we're learning a lot of things, not only about ourselves, but about Mother Earth, about humanity, about nature, when we're in here looking out and seeing what we've done, you know, the wrongs that we've done or the rights that we've done, and how we could become better people when we do emerge finally. So I think it's okay to not be okay, but know that it does get better and it will get better. And there are people out here that love and support you always for who you are right now. And that's important to know.
Very important to know.
Yeah.
Michelle, it's great to see you. Thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate you making time for me, and I love the show.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me. It's always great to see your face, sweetheart.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, love.
All right, she is great. Michelle Visage. And my mother wants you to know that her first name is Michelle. Yes, Mom. Everyone knows. She is fantastic. She is so kind. She is just as cool as she appears on TV and on RuPaul's Drag Race. And no, she's not giving any clues to the All-Star winner. You know that press team was very picky about getting a chance to even speak to her. They didn't want me to ask any questions about Drag Race, so I promised that I wouldn't. But I, said that I could bring up my own stint on there, the season that Bob won. But that's it. They're like, nothing more. All right. So her show, How's Your Head, Hun? Reminds me of Baltimore. So I wanted to take you to my hometown of Baltimore, where Hey Hun is heard almost on every corner, to introduce you to this awesome couple that really took a risk, a big risk, and opened a brand new business during COVID isolation. It's called Firefly Farms. And it's a tongue twister if you say that fast. But it's the best cheese we've had in a long time in this house, and I want to introduce you to them as we take a master cheese class. Joining us now all the way from Baltimore are Mike and Pablo. They are the owners of Firefly Farms, and they're going to give us a master cheese class. But first, guys, you guys just opened up during COVID-19, during isolation. Whose idea was this?
Well, it's been in the works for about a year and a half, Thomas, and so I have to be honest, when Armageddon happened in March, we looked at our lease and considered termination, but who knew that you had to have very specific language in a force majeure clause about global pandemic, right? So we thought, well, let's just go for it. Fortune favors the bold, and we're in a spot with multiple vendors, and we all just rushed headlong in, and it's gone really well.
Well, let's talk about this spot. It's in Whitehall Market in Clipper Mill in Baltimore. Is this a new area?
It's actually got a lot of history. The building has been here for quite a while. It was built in 1798, and it's a project of David Trufaro, and it's a renovated cotton mill. And it's beautiful. It's all brick, and the Jones Falls is right behind us, and it's a pretty little spot. And a lot of folks are investing, and there's a lot of energy. Spike Yurda's restaurant is just up the street a bit. Artifact Coffee. So yeah, it's fun.
It looks pretty amazing. So Pablo, how long have you guys been together, and what made you go into business together? It's tough enough on a marriage just to be married, let alone be in business together.
Been together since 1995, so 25 years. One day we decided to buy a farm in the country. I was raised in Argentina. My grandparents had a ranch, so I always enjoy nature and animals. So the idea of buying a farm was very appealing. So we ended up buying the farm, and soon after we started thinking about what we should do with the farm. And they come up with the goat cheese making. And we started officially in 2001. I was a chef in downtown DC, worked as a chef for almost a decade, and decided to quit my job, move to the farm, start taking care of goats.
I'm going to bring in my Patrick, so he's going to help us with the master class that you're going to give us.
Hey guys,
Pablo and Mike.
Hey Pablo, hey Mike. I get to join for the fun part, right?
You're a lucky man. I've been doing one
I'm
at a
gonna
time.
Okay.
Start with this little baby, the soft, ripe, and bloomy breeze.
This one right here.
Yeah. So this is a cow's milk cheese. We do a total of 12 cheeses now. 2 of them are cow's milk and 10 are goat's milk. We're sort of legacy goat's milk creators. And this is one of our newest little babies. We did a large format of this that was about 2.5 pounds. And now in the new world, grab and go, UPC,
Right.
Single format cheeses are really desirable. So this little 6-ounce Bloomy Breeze Mini was born. And what you see on the outside is a surface ripening mold called Penicillium candidum, which is often on brie or camembert, and it ripens over the course of 4 to 12 weeks. So it's yummy and buttery and approachable and really easy to eat.
Yeah, and it's called soft ripening means because the cheese gets softer as it ages, and obviously it gets stronger. So if you like flavor, if you want for something more flavorful, grab the one it's looking like it's melting.
Yeah, ooey and gooey.
If it's firm, means it's young and it won't have as much flavor.
Okay.
Now, is there a specific cracker you recommend to go with it, or can you just eat it by itself?
You can definitely eat it by itself, but it goes great with savory or sweet. You know, like you can serve it with like a fig jam, hold on, sorry, or olives, prosciutto, salami, those strong flavors. You know, the cheese itself is buttery and you know, it's creamy, and you balance the strong flavor from the salami or the olives, let's say, or you know, same thing with the jams. You know, they're so sweet, kind of balanced.
Really good.
No, it's very
Yeah,
good. Very buttery.
Yeah, it's super buttery. So the farmer that we buy the milk from has a herd that's half Jersey, and their butter fat is really high. The beautiful thing about these little cheeses is you can see them ripening from the surface in.
So
Spruce Reserve.
Spruce Reserve, okay. So the Spruce Reserve is our traditional merry-go-round that we've been doing it since the beginning. There we go, right here. You know, once again, as the cheese age gets creamier and stronger, and so we started wrapping the wheels in the spruce. You know, it's a strip of wood that when we get it, they're really stiff. So we have to soak it in hot, salty water so it softens so you can wrap the wheels. And they age together. You know, we put it in the aging room together, and you can see molds start to grow over the bark. That's fine. That's normal. You know, some people are freaked out because, oh my God, it's all moldy. That's what you want.
Okay.
And then
I guess you're supposed to take the bark off before you cut the cheese.
Oh no, you don't. You don't.
You leave it.
You
It's
leave
like
it.
a pair of Spanx.
Exactly, because the cheese is so soft, the wood holds it together. Otherwise, once you cut it,
Right.
it will ooze out and make a mess.
Yeah.
So the way you serve this, the way you will serve this, you cut around the tip, you know, with the tip of the knife around the edge, and then you peel it off.
Lifter lid.
I don't have the best utensil for this. I'm gonna grab my sharp knife real quick.
So you
I don't know.
basically unlid it. It's like a big lid.
It's like a
Exactly.
big lid. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
And the inside should be soft and creamy. You can see
It's gooey.
gooey. You can spread. You can dip.
So you probably have to give a little lesson to a lot of people, because my first thought was I got to get rid of that piece of wood.
Bark.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Isn't
Isn't
that
it?
gorgeous?
Yeah.
Oh, she's
And
a
so
party.
you just serve it directly from there. I mean, you just have a little cheese knife
Exactly.
and
You can
dip
put
it
it in a
out.
cheese or with, you know, crackers and fruit or other things. You know, you just, you know, serve it the whole thing in there.
Wow.
So
This is really
are most of your cheeses that you guys do, they're more on the soft side, right? It's that I'm a texture guy. I like some hard cheeses, but the soft cheeses are definitely my favorite. It looks like that's pretty much what we have here.
Yeah, well, it's where we started. And the reason for that is soft cheeses tend to be younger. So they're a little higher moisture and they ripen quicker. So you're not holding on to a cheese for a year.
Yeah. The other thing you can do with this is bake it. Put it in the oven as it is. So when it's ripe like this, you put it in a dish, in a sheet pan, bake it in the oven and serve it warm. It's like
Oh.
what you do.
That'd be
It's
awesome.
really
The taste.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
very
I
good.
like this.
Yeah, so that one got a perfect score at the American Cheese Society judging. So it made us very proud. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would probably end up taking off that wood and cutting it like, you know, we regularly did with this. That's great. I mean,
Yeah, well, to Patrick's point, we created a little 5x7 marketing card that we give when people buy it that sort of describes how to eat it and, you know, how to cut the top off. And yeah, it's something they've been doing in Europe for a long time, but in the States it's new.
All right, so a big thanks to the guys at Firefly Farms. They were fantastic and so kind to us. If you want to order, just go to their website right there at fireflyfarms.com. And wouldn't it be cool to bake it? I want to do that too. I just noticed how red my tongue is. I was drinking a red drink. That's really red. But yeah, the Firefly Farms guys are so great. They taught us so much. But that cheese, it was delicious. And yeah, you wouldn't think at first to keep that moldy piece of wood on there. But it apparently is meant to be there, and you're just supposed to cut the lid off the top. So I just want to go over one more thing about the face masks, because Aunt Pat was asking about donations or what we're doing. But in case you missed it, we got face masks made, okay? They're right here, and they say Gay Good News with Thomas Roberts. They're the stretchy kind, and they have a hole on the side where you can put a filter if you want to put a filter in there. But they fit on your face, and they look really great. But what we're doing is, for the 10 people that share this page or share this episode, I will get their information and we will mail them one of these, which will be great. Now, as you go into the weekend, I want you to think about potentially what's on your nightstand, because on Monday, we're going to have the opportunity to speak to Eric Cervini. Eric is the author of The Deviance War, and maybe you've already heard of this, but it is this incredible book that takes a look at the life of Frank Kameny, a name you probably know, but what the U.S. government was doing to contractors and people that were working for the government if they were suspected of homosexuality in the 50s, 60s, and even into the 70s. It's now getting up there on the New York Times bestseller list, and one of the first books for LGBTQ history to do that in many decades. But we're going to have a chance to talk to Eric about it, and he spent 7 years on this book, an amazing feat. But I hope you have a very, very safe weekend. Again, Global Pride is this weekend. You can check out their event starting at 1 a.m. In the morning, so just after midnight tonight. Go to globalpride.org. And just remember, if it isn't happening to you, it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Take care of yourself, everybody, and be safe this weekend. I'll see you on Monday.